This game begins with pawn to e4 and black responds with pawn to e6, entering the French defense. White plays pawn to d4, black answers with pawn to d5, and after knight to c3, black chooses the Rubinstein setup with pawn takes e4. White recaptures with knight takes e4, black develops naturally with knight to f6, and white immediately exchanges with knight takes f6 check. Now we reach the soul of this opening. Black plays pawn takes f6 with the g-pawn. At first glance this looks ugly. Black doubles the pawns and weakens the king side, but this is completely intentional. Black opens the g-file, keeps the rook active, and creates attacking chances that can become very dangerous later. In this system, structure matters less than activity. White continues with knight to f3, black develops the other knight to c6. White brings the bishop to e3 and black plays pawn to b6. This is a very important idea. Black wants to develop the light-squared bishop to b7, where it becomes a powerful piece aiming down the long diagonal. White places the bishop on b5, black develops with bishop to b7, white castles kingside, and black starts asking the bishop questions with pawn to a6. White retreats with bishop to a4, black keeps expanding with pawn to b5. White drops back to bishop to b3 and black now plays knight to a5. That move is a key positional idea. Black attacks the bishop on b3 and tries to exchange it. Why is that so important? Because if black removes white's active light-squared bishop, then black's own bishop on b7 becomes even stronger, cutting through the board with tremendous energy. This opening is all about embracing imbalance. Black gives up a pretty pawn structure, but in return gets open lines, active pieces, and strong attacking chances. The rook can later come to the g-file, the king can even castle queenside, and the so-called weak structure suddenly becomes the base for a full attack. So even though black's pawns look broken, the position is very alive. This is the Rozman French, risky, aggressive, and full of venom.